Hi there, my name is Gina Goodbread. I am a student in the MBA program at University of Hartford. I currently work at the Hartford Insurance Group as an underwriter. Today I'm going to discuss my career development as well as leadership and social responsibility with you. Some background on me is I graduated from Penn State in 2011 for my undergrad with a degree in economics through the business school. And I live in Pittsburgh. I lived in Pittsburgh at the time, and I wanted to stay in Pittsburgh, so I was searching for jobs. I originally wanted to go into human resources or the finance sector, but during that time it was a pretty tough uh, time for jobs, and after about 8 months of searching for a job, I ended up applying to the Hartford to work in what was then known as their complex claim group. So I moved in November of 2012 to Hartford, Connecticut from Pittsburgh to begin working at the Hartford. And during my time there, I worked as a claim rep. I handled asbestos, toxic tort, environmental, and construction defect claims. And this was my first job out of college, so obviously not too much opportunity for leadership there, but I was able to work on projects, usually just as a minor player, but developing my leadership while I was there. And I was in that job for about 2.5 years. And while I was there, we actually underwent 3 reorganizations. So I had to learn pretty quickly how to manage leadership changes and different leadership styles. I'll touch on that a little bit later. So from there, I went to underwriting, which is what I currently do. I work in our construction underwriting department, handling accounts that are larger in size. So I've been in this role for about a year and a half. So I've been here for about a year and a half, and I'm really enjoying underwriting, and it's definitely has more of a leadership aspect to it than claims handling. Um, so going back to change management and dealing with different leadership styles. So my first manager when I began working at the Hartford was phenomenal. He definitely had a great leadership style. He made you feel like you were responsible for your work. He did not micromanage in the slightest, and he was an excellent manager. Definitely somebody who if I ever were to become a manager, I would definitely want to follow in his footsteps. Throughout the reorganizations, I switched managers, and it was almost to a point that was the exact opposite of my former manager, where it was very micromanagement style, which was tough to deal with, especially coming from a style that was not like that at all. So I was able to change my style to meet his needs and still be able to successfully complete my work and be successful in my job. So after going through that experience, moving to my new role, I had a manager that was more similar to my previous manager, which was more hands off, more um, giving you ownership of your work. But coming from that experience has definitely taught me how to be able to handle those situations, and I think it's to everyone's benefits to go through that kind of change. Maybe not as drastic, but it definitely helps you develop your own style and see what you like and what you don't like. So if you are in a leadership position, you're not putting people through that experience that you didn't enjoy. And also, in some ways, having a manager that doesn't suit your style or isn't what you believe should be happening allows you to come through and become more of a leader. I at one point had a manager who was, they were kind of in the middle of a role transition and kind of weren't very involved in our day-to-day work. So myself and my teammates were forced to step up and kind of become our own managers and being able to get our work done and elevate issues if we needed to in order to get them resolved. Overall, my experience in working at the Hartford has been fantastic, and I think they are an excellent company to work for. I've been able to change roles. I went from claims to underwriting, which can sometimes be a little difficult to do, and the Hartford fully supports internal moves. So being in a company that supports career development within the company and being able to help you in any field that you want to get into within that company is fantastic. They definitely promote from within and want to keep their employees internally, so that is usually their number one go-to when looking for a new employee is an internal hire, which is great because some companies aren't that way. So definitely, the Hartford is fantastic. They support lots of social issues that are hot topics today, and they are definitely on the cutting edge of technology and going green and just supporting the community around them. They do a lot for the Asylum Hill area, as well as running annual giving campaigns and supporting employees who volunteer or need flexible work arrangements. They're fantastic. I think one of the most important traits someone can have when working and trying to be successful in their career is just being consistent and reliable in their work and their work ethic. Having a can-do attitude definitely goes a long way, and not to say that you should never say no, because there might be situations where if somebody asks you to help them out and you already have work to do, you don't want to let your other responsibilities go because you've taken on too much work. But in my experience, being consistent, being reliable, have definitely helped me further my career, and people definitely take notice of being able to consistently get your work done on time and that it's the best product that you can put out there. So in my career so far, I haven't necessarily had a leadership role, but I have been able to demonstrate leadership abilities. In my current role, I work with outside agents a lot, and being able to guide them through giving them demands and making clear what I'm looking for up front I've been able to develop those relationships favorably, and the relationships that will continue to develop. Also, just amongst my team, I've been able, if there's a specific need that I felt wasn't being met, I've been able to vocalize that and gotten my situation improved in order to improve my work-life balance, and being able to speak up and demonstrate why these things are needed is not something that I have an issue with, and I've been able to successfully do that in my career so far. So if I had known then what I know now, what would I have done differently? So from the beginning, I would have tried to just move up to Hartford immediately and not try to find a job in Pittsburgh, even though I really wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. Moving to Hartford and getting a career in the insurance industry has been great for me, and I think it's a career that a lot of people don't really think about. Insurance isn't a glamorous industry. It may not, may not seem the most appealing to a lot of people. Most people think insurance is kind of dry and boring, but there are so many different aspects to insurance that whatever you want to do, you can probably fit it into insurance, and it's a very secure industry. It's great for career development. There are so many different companies you can work for. You can move internally to different departments if you start in accounting and you decide you want to go into product development. You can probably do that with a little bit of help from your management. Most of the managers that I've had have been very encouraging when it comes to moving departments, or even just moving within the same department to a different position. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. for a lot of people that aren't aware of the insurance industry, or if you even want to get into the financial sector, insurance is a great place to start. They offer similar jobs, maybe not as lucrative as Wall Street, but uh, great jobs nonetheless, with maybe not as crazy hours as Wall Street would have. That would be my biggest takeaway, would be to just keep your options open. Even if you think you want to go into a certain field, explore other fields. You never know what could be out there that you're missing. Obviously, we all have insurance, but I never once thought that I would be working in insurance, um, with no plans to leave the insurance industry. My recommendation as far as leadership skills and roles would be just take every opportunity you can to develop those skills, whether it be working on a project or just being able to demonstrate your skills within your own team, not even on a project necessarily. Just being able to communicate your views and your message will be able you will be viewed as a leader just by speaking up. A lot of people get complacent or don't speak up or feel that their voice isn't gonna do anything. Um, but being able to just demonstrate that you will speak up and you have new ideas, people will notice that and they will uh, view you as a leader, not in the traditional sense, but that you have the ability to speak your mind and get people on board with what you're saying. I think it's important to remember that just because you're not in a traditional leadership role does not mean that you can't demonstrate leadership skills and abilities. Look into at your company, wherever you end up, if they have any kind of leadership development programs. Those are a great way to develop skills and put out there that you are one day looking for a leadership position. At the Hartford, they have a few development programs that are available. They have an early career development program that's not necessarily geared toward leadership, but it definitely does give you that exposure to upper management and gives you more perspective on how they moved into their leadership positions and how they were able to effectively communicate with their direct reports to become the leader that they are today. I think that these are great programs to take advantage of and get your name out there. It's great for networking and just getting you exposure to those upper management positions that you might not get in your day-to-day work. Um, Especially if you're at a big company, you might not be able to see those upper uh, leadership roles. I think being socially responsible means valuing your impact on the community as well as the rest of the global world. My company, I believe, is very socially responsible. They have a vested commitment in the community around them, through volunteering, through donations, through after school programs with some of the schools in the area. They also have a very big green initiative. We went paperless a few years back, and printing less and using less paper is definitely a big part of working at the Hartford. Um, Also, just being able to give your employees a good work-life balance, I think, is part of that as well. Um, just giving them flexibility as far as working from home, or people who have kids are able to adjust their schedule to whatever fits whatever their needs are. Um, so I think being a partner to the community you're in as well as to the rest of the world is part of the social responsibility of the leader in charge, who believes in those things as well. Like I mentioned before, the Hartford is supportive of different social issues, and they are aware of the wage gap controversy and are one of the front runners in that regard in trying to equalize that matter. So these are definitely things that a company's leader is the first one to um, be on board for, and pushes their company to be as responsible as they can in pushing those issues forward and helping the community that they're in and helping those communities thrive or become better communities to be in. This will conclude my video. I hope that there's some good advice in there for you, and just remember to be open to whatever career path is out there. The insurance industry is kind of like a hidden gem career path where a lot of people don't think about it, but it definitely can be a very satisfying and fulfilling career to have. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.